At my birthday lunch, my daughter whispered while I distract him, but she forgot who built it. My name is Jack, and on the morning I turned 60 years old, I woke up before my alarm, staring at the ceiling the way men do when they've lived long enough to count memories instead of plans.
60.
A number that doesn't hurt on its own, but it carries weight. The weight of years spent fixing things quietly, of promises kept without witnesses, of love shown through labor rather than words. I didn't know yet that by lunchtime, a single whisper would peel back my entire life and lay it bare on a polished restaurant table. I stood in front of the bathroom mirror longer than usual that day. The man staring back at me had lines etched deep around his eyes, laugh lines, sure, but also worry lines. The kind you earn when other people's futures matter more than your comfort. Still standing, I muttered. Linda used to stand behind me while I shaved, resting her chin on my shoulder. You always look surprised you made it another year, she'd tease. She'd been gone 10 years, but sometimes the house still breathed like she was there, especially on birthdays. I put on the jacket Emily had bought me 3 Christmases ago, still fit. Builders know the value of maintaining what works. Inside the inner pocket, without thinking, I slipped in a brown envelope creased at the edges, heavier with meaning than paper should ever be. The restaurant Emily chose was upscale in that performative way: dim lighting, carefully uncomfortable chairs, menus that read like riddles. "Dad, over here," Emily waved when I walked in. She looked happy, successful, like someone who'd landed safely on the other side of struggle and forgotten how sharp the crossing stones were. I hugged her. She smelled like expensive perfume and a life I didn't fully understand anymore. Mark shook my hand, firm grip, confident, the kind of man who thought confidence was self-made. "Happy birthday, Jack," he said. "Thank you," I replied. I took my seat at the end of the table. It felt symbolic, but I pushed the thought away. Peter arrived late, already apologizing into his phone. Anne talked loudly about her cruise plans, glasses clinked, the table filled with noise but not connection. And I realized something uncomfortable. Everyone was celebrating my birthday. No one was celebrating me. It happened when the appetizers arrived. I was mid-bite, half listening to Anne when Emily leaned toward Mark. Her voice was light, playful, dangerously careless. "While I distract him," she whispered, "grab the envelope from Dad's jacket." She laughed softly. Mark nodded without hesitation. I froze. Not because of anger, but because of the certainty in her voice. She wasn't sneaking, she was assuming. Assuming I wouldn't notice. Assuming I wouldn't understand. Assuming I was already fatting. The fork trembled slightly in my hand. "He won't even notice," her smile seemed to say. "Oh, sweetheart. You forget who spent a lifetime noticing everything." That envelope wasn't valuable because of what it held, but because of why it existed. 5 years earlier, Emily had sat at my kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug she wasn't drinking from. "Dad, we might lose the house." Mark's construction startup had collapsed, banks said no, friends disappeared. I didn't hesitate. I sold the land Linda and I had bought decades earlier, a quiet plot where we planned to grow old. I never told Emily what it cost me. I just handed her the solution. In that envelope. It held the deed copy, proof not of ownership but of origin. Emily turned to me, bright smile locked in place. "Dad, tell Aunt Anne about that time you rebuilt the school gym after the storm." I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't cruel. She was comfortable. Comfortable standing on something solid without wondering who poured the concrete. So I told the story. And while I spoke, Mark reached behind me. I felt the jacket shift. I let it happen. I could have stayed quiet. Builders are good at that. But silence, I'd learned, teaches people the wrong lessons. When dessert arrived and the cake candles flickered, someone yelled speech. I stood. Slowly. Every joint protested, but my voice didn't. "I'm grateful you all came," I began, truly. I reached into my jacket pocket. Empty. I also seemed to be missing something important. Emily's laugh was too quick. "Oh, maybe. Mark has it," I said calmly. The room collapsed into silence. Mark froze, the envelope halfway hidden beneath the table. "I wasn't hiding it," I continued. I was bringing it to share the story properly. I took the envelope back and laid it on the table. This, I said, tapping it gently, is the foundation of your house.
Faces shifted.
I built things my whole life, I went on, not just walls, futures, safety nets, second chances. I looked at Emily. And I never asked for credit, but forgetting that hurts more than ingratitude. Tears spilled freely now. Dad, she whispered, breaking, I didn't realize. I know, I said softly, that's the problem. Emily hugged me like she did when she was 8. Mark apologized properly this time. Peter put his phone away. And for the first time that day, I felt seen. The moral. Hear what 60 years taught me. Never forget who built what you stand on. And if you built it, don't shrink just because others got comfortable. I'm Jack, I'm 60 years old. And I'm not invisible. I'm the reason the table exists at all.